Hello, everyone. I'm Jordan Freed, and I am here with my colleague, Billy Baxter, and you're listening to another edition of the Immutable Holdings Weekly Update. Again, I'm Jordan, Chairman and CEO of Immutable Holdings. Billy, how are you this week?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Well, hey, Jordan, looks like we got I know we had a recording earlier this week, but there's obviously been a lot of news that's been taking place across the broader digital asset ecosystem. And if it's all right with you, do you want to just kind of dive in here? I guess the
Let's
first thing
dive
I have
into
on
it.
the docket, yeah, let's dive into it. First thing on the docket, as we've been covering many times on the show before. We've labeled this the FTX Saga. It was really ironic. We had a recording, earlier this week, and soon after that, we found news that Sam Bankman-Fried received his indictment from the U.S. Government via the Southern District of New York, along with additional charges from SEC and CFTC, and then ultimately was arrested in the Bahamas and is pending a hearing that will take place in February. So not sure if this is necessarily closure to the whole situation, but it definitely was something that was taking storm on Twitter, like on Tuesday. And then I guess on top of that too, this all came in advance of some hearings that were taking place on Capitol Hill as part of both the U.S. House and Senate, where SBF was supposed to go in and testify, but obviously since he was arrested, couldn't make there in person. However, the testimony still went on, and there was some really good information there. So curious to get your take on this whole situation. Yeah, it's one of our favorite topics to talk about.
Yeah, we'll get to some Immutable Holdings updates in a second, as we always do, but we do like to cover what's happening in the crypto market. And as Billy referenced, it's a big week. Crimes were committed. It's everyone has the right to a trial, defense. Sam is certainly going to get that. He was denied bail. He is sitting in prison. There's clearly some wrongdoing here, and he's going to be tried in a court of law in the United States. It's likely that he'll be extradited, and that's why they denied the bail, so he can come to the U.S. There are a lot of people hurt here. Most notably were the investors that put capital, over $1.8 billion, into FTX, and the users of the platform who trusted Sam and trusted the FTX team to be good custodians of those assets. A lot of the cryptocurrency exchanges, as we've talked about on this very channel, have architectures that put them in custodial control of the user deposits. And it's important as an ecosystem that we continue to learn that not everyone's a good custodian. You really shouldn't be. If you're a user or a holder of cryptocurrency, you should never be keeping them on the platforms that you use. Those platforms are really there for buying and selling. And then once you have sold, or once you now own crypto, it really is important that you take those into reputable, either insured custodians, or learn how to custody those assets yourself in a cold storage wallet. So, Sam's facing up to, I think the total count, if he's convicted of everything, is over 115 years in prison. Unlikely that he gets charged with everything, but it's time to clean the space up. And I'm excited, Billy, to move on from just talking about Sam and FTX and just get back to building.
Totally. Well, hey, it's just a follow-up to that. And you mentioned about kind of like centralized exchanges. Kind of another headline that was breaking this past week was just some kind of discussions around Binance and some questions into their operations. And then also at the same time, when those Senate hearings were taking place, there was a announcement made by the DOJ, or excuse me, there was an exclusive article by Reuters diving into this pending investigation that the DOJ in the U.S. is undertaking on Binance. On top of it, we saw a number of outflows from the exchange, but at the same time too, there were a number of inflows going into it. And on top of it, the founder and CEO of Binance, CZ, had mentioned, had made some comments about like self-custody and how most users are going to lose their assets. So, Binance is obviously a big exchange. if anything were to go wrong there, probably would be really detrimental to the space. Just curious to kind of get your thoughts on that. Also as we kind of shift away our focus from FTX.
Yeah, listen, there's a coordinated attack on Binance, and Binance is not perfect. Most businesses are not perfect. If you were to scrutinize almost any single company in existence, you probably could find some semblance of wrongdoing. And that's certainly the case, I think, with a lot of the crypto operators. But in their defense, I think there's also a lot of regulatory ambiguity. It's not clear how to operate in every jurisdiction. To Binance's credit, they did create Binance US. All of their users are fully KYC'd. They've gone state to state to get money transmission licenses and money service business licenses. I believe they've successfully done that in 44 states. Have they been a little bit too lax in, compliance with OFAC and other things? Likely so, Billy. And I'm not a lawyer. I don't work at the Department of Justice. So it's a shame to hear that there's more investigations that are going on. Binance is an important platform, and it appears to be a little bit better run, perhaps a lot better run than some of the other platforms in the space. The exchange outflows are no surprise. I advocate that anyone that still has any money on Binance should get their money off of Binance, but not because I don't trust Binance as a platform. Again, they're probably one of the more better run platforms than some of what we saw this past cycle with Voyager and Celsius and BlockFi and of course now FTX. So I'll leave my comments there, Billy, but we'll take a wait and see approach with what happens with Binance.
Absolutely. Will be interesting to see how it all develops. All right. So Jordan, outside of this kind of, headlines that was taking everyone's focus, one item I wanted to kind of bring up and, just for us to talk about, and this is on the kind of the side of good news. So recently a platform called Aztec Protocol raised $100 million in Series B financing that was just announced this past week. But the reason I'm just bringing them up is Aztec is a developer, using zero knowledge proofs, or basically incorporating zero knowledge rollups to build like a layer 2 platform. And then in the past 3 months, we've seen 5 other companies announced some major funding rounds for a total of over $300 million in total financing. So while everything's been going on with FTX, while the fallout has been taking place throughout crypto, zero knowledge proofs appear to be this increasingly growing area within the space that's attracting both startups building in the space and then also like investors. So, this is probably something we would probably we might need a little more time to kind of dive into what exactly are zero knowledge proofs and how they could benefit, different blockchain networks. But curious to get your kind of take on this and, potential promising area within blockchain technologies.
Yeah, I would speak more to the trend. There's still capital being deployed investing in crypto companies and companies building in this world of Web3 and the world of decentralization. There is improvements to be made at every layer of the stack, from layer 1 scaling solutions that include ZK rollups to help make things like the Ethereum network even more performant, even post ETH 2.0. And we're seeing a lot of work being done in that area. And clearly, the venture capital dollars are flowing there as well. But there's also improvements to be made to the world of decentralized finance. There's improvements that we're making to the world of NFTs. There's improvements that we're making to the world of identity, how we assign identities on blockchains. And there's a lot of areas where I think that as we start to innovate and we start to connect more and more people on these decentralized protocols, the opportunities for investors will only continue to increase. In a market like the one that we're in right now, you often have a lot of really great deals that are out there right now because of the dislocation in valuations, but much fewer capital being deployed. So obviously the amount of money flowing in is not what it was, maybe a year ago or 2 years ago. But I'm very optimistic and I remain very bullish that, the examples that you're giving, Billy, merely highlight that people continue to build. There's this great law, I believe it was Joy's law. He was the founder of Sun Microsystems, who always talked about the fact that no matter how many good people you have working for you, there's always more smart people working elsewhere. And I think one thing that I look at in the crypto space is we have more smart people working in crypto than ever before. You've got new graduates coming out of MIT, coming out of Stanford, coming out of some of the top schools, coming out of Waterloo in Canada, who are opting for careers in this world of Web3, as an alternative to taking a job at, a Google or a Facebook or an Apple or an Amazon or a Netflix. And that should tell you a lot. Talk to a recent grad, talk to a young person in their early 20s looking to start out their career. Crypto, while the exuberance may have gone away, in my opinion, is still very much sexy, and there's no better place to work than in the crypto ecosystem. As you know, Billy, we continue to hire, we're very excited about the opportunities, including zero knowledge proofs.
Great. Well, hey, on that note, speaking about great places to work, maybe that's a good segue into talking about Immutable Holdings. So what are we able to kind of share this week? I know we had covered last time about the recent release of the private beta with NFT.com. Still pushing forward with a lot of things, but what kind of things do you want to share with the community today?
Yeah, I think the most important thing we're focused on now is, it's funny, we ship a release v0.14, and we are already almost immediately after that, we have to turn our attention to v0.15, which comes out next week, which is an even bigger release. And with every release, we get closer and closer to a state of public beta of the NFT.com platform, which really just means it's no longer just those Genesis key holders who can access the platform. It's anyone, anywhere in the world can come to NFT.com. And I'm really excited about what that means. I'm excited about the aggregation of not just OpenSea and LooksRare, but in this new release. Billy, can I say what's in this new release yet? That's not private, correct?
No, I mean, if you're willing to share it, or by the time this
I think by the time this video comes out, I'd like to share it, because we've decided to integrate, in addition to OpenSea and LooksRare, we've decided to integrate now X2Y2, now really proving out our model of aggregating 3 of the top NFT marketplaces in the world on the Ethereum network. And of course, in our public beta, we do intend to have an NFT.com native marketplace as well. So that's 4 marketplaces all aggregated together. The vision is a big one. I mean, the most important thing I think we're working on is this vision of, we want to have more NFTs listed on NFT.com than any other platform in the world. And I really do think, if you look at other examples of incredible marketplaces that have been built, Amazon being one of the best. Really, Amazon was able to become Amazon because it solved that core problem of, back in the day when you walked into a bookstore, Billy, they'd only have 20 to 30,000 books on hand. Amazon was able to have 1 million books or 2 million books because of its model of being able to list those products, store them in a warehouse, and ship them quickly to consumers. Very similarly, our model is, we'll have more NFTs on NFT.com than almost any other platform out there. And we will continue to support NFTs wherever they exist in the future, not just on the Ethereum protocol. Our vision is is for a multi-protocol world. So look forward to v0.15 before the end of the year, and then a public beta early in Q1 of 2023. We are very excited for the eventual public beta of the platform. So I'd say that's probably the biggest area of focus for us. But Billy, would now be a good time to talk about also this studio, because I briefly mentioned it in the last Immutable weekly update, but I want to go into a little bit more depth.
Yeah, take it away.
So I've got this studio here, and you have to excuse me, I'm a little congested here. I'm going to do a quick camera so we can see a different angle. I'm going to turn over here where I can look at you this way. And what you've got behind me is, you've got our set. You can see I am a Bitcoin fan, not a Bitcoin maxi, but I'm a fan of Bitcoin. I don't think any of us would be in this space. And I've got this really cool switchboard. Hopefully you can see this on your screen. It looks a little bit, it's lit up like a Christmas tree here. What we're hoping to do with this is we create a lot of content on a daily basis in our Immutable Media business line, where we today put out a newsletter 5 days a week. It hits inboxes at 7:15 a.m. Eastern time, again, every business day. And that has had tremendous traction. And organically already, we've had advertisers reach out to us to start to buy paid placements in that newsletter, which is one way for us to monetize that great asset. And by the way, that's grown to over 30,000 active subscribers on that newsletter, and we've got more plans to continue to grow that. What you're looking at here in this is you've got this great set that, thanks to Yale on our team, he has put together, and he's been able to build. We've got this we've got this set for us to create not just now written content, but also audio and visual content. So 2023 is really going to be a year for us about getting as many eyeballs as we possibly can get. We want eyeballs on not just that newsletter, but we want people listening to that audio version of the podcast and then the video content we're putting out there, which is why we've made the commitment and spent the time to build this. And I'm very excited about our ability to reach as many people as possible in 2023 as a core strategy, again, a top of funnel strategy to get those listeners and be able to help more and more people understand what's happening in the space. How can they get involved? How can they learn more? And then, hopefully use some of the amazing product that we're building, like NFT.com. So, look out for a podcast early in the new year. The place to get informed when we do drop a podcast will be the newsletter. So go check out coffeeandcrypto.com to go and subscribe to that.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of things for us to talk about. And then to your point, we're on a mission to increase the awareness, access, and adoption of digital assets. And it looks like this is helping to address the first leg of that, the awareness. So that's really exciting times on the immutable front. Well, Jordan, that's all I had on the agenda. As always, before we wrap up, any last words?
Absolutely. I'd love to get some user feedback into or user questions here. So you may have seen, if you follow us on social, I've done a few test live streams using the setup so that we can get comfortable using the control board and everything here. But if you have questions that you'd like us to answer about Immutable Holdings, about our business model and everything that we're doing, please submit them to Billy at immutableholdings.com, or leave a comment on one of these videos, and we'll try to answer it in the next edition. We do try to make this once per week, and we'll continue to do it. So we look forward to hearing from you. If you did watch to the end, thank you so much. Please make sure you like and subscribe to be updated when we do upload new content. And then, Billy, happy Friday. I appreciate your time.
EGIF. All right. Well, that's all we had. So thanks everyone for joining us, and look forward to speaking with you next week. Take care.